Success is very broad. People say, I want to be successful, or I want to be successful. But when you look at the definition of success, it's accomplishment or the aim of a purpose. The accomplishment or the aim. So it's if you got it or if you're still going to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you ask yourself, what is your definition of success?
What's up, family? This is the Get Your Time Back series with Gerrion Grim. So turn your headphones up and let's get the studio some love.
Let's just talk about success today.
The S word.
Let's just talk about success. Well, success is very broad. People say, I want to be successful, or I want to be successful. But when you look at the definition of success, it's accomplishment or the aim of a purpose. The accomplishment or the aim. So it's if you got it or if you're still going to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you ask yourself, what is your definition of success?
I think my personal definition changes. It depends what I'm doing. When I was playing, it was to win. Right? When I'm coaching, it's to teach. Right? And now I'm entering like another phase of my life where I'm learning is time is to enjoy. Right? So my success now is learning how to take time to enjoy what I'm doing. Whereas when I don't want to get stuck in that phase, but you know, when you're going and you're achieving successful things, right? That's when you have to keep track of what you're doing. Well, how do you know what you're doing if you're not going and testing it yourself? You know, like talking to the people and enjoying, taking some time off to look back at it and see where it started. You know, I've been able to go through 6-7 years worth of video just to see how much this thing's grown over 6 or 7 years.
Amazing.
Yeah. And you look back and you say, man, I'm achieving. You know, I'm succeeding. Because when you were doing it, it was like at every point that you're doing something, you are looking back at it and you're like, man, I'm failing. Right? But we talked about that. I lost that word. I started looking for more success. Right? And I think success was more work, right? And trying to establish a successful business, right? I know we're defining the word, but it's hard to define success without success.
So what you making it sound like is success is almost calculated. So some people have success where you accomplish goals. Some success is in the pursuit of accomplishing goals, whether it be happiness or financial freedom. And then some people find success when the goals are not met. When unexpected things happen.
And this is contrary to what you said. It's an aim at a goal, right? So a lot of people, when I have to talk to people, they're like, "Oh, your ideas are good. There's no plan." Well, if my idea is how we got to the point that we are talking about, I'm just telling you where the plan is at right now. Right? I know what my plan is 20 to 30 to 50 years from now, but everything up to now is building up to it. I just got to stay healthy, right? I got to stay mindful, right? And I'm going to get there. I'm setting it up for me to be able to get up to 80 years old, right? I don't need a tragedy to happen. Now, if tragedies happen, that happens. But when you stack up your success and you're like, this is where I want to be at 70 years old, everything else is just going to lead you up to that point. But people look at that like, oh, you don't have a year-by-year plan. Well, year-by-year, you're going to get stuck because life happens, right? So 100%, you got to look at where you want to be 50 years from now. That's how calculated out you got to be. Well, I know I want to do this, so I got to do this. And then you'll treat every single day like that, and you're successful towards what you're working at. Because you're going to put time into what establishes that. Whether it be family, whether it be your job, whether it be a hobby, right?
That's what I'm looking for, because we're big on moving to the next level. But some people find success in raising a family, having that that supportive partner in their life. You know what I mean? That helps them build the wealth that that they are aspiring to have. So that I'm glad you brought that point up. Most definitely.
Yeah, and like the success is weird because it's a person-to-person thing, right? You and I, we were good friends, but our levels of success are different. That doesn't mean when people say you have a high standard, everyone should have a high standard, but always I'm going to feel like my standards are higher than yours because I'm super competitive. But another thing that people have to learn too is this: you have to know that, right? But you're not selfish with that thought, right? Like, it's like, I feel like my success is higher than yours because I'm going to try to help you with it, right? You have to understand what level of success you're shooting for, and then you go with other people's successes that are higher in a different career field. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like you as a friend of mine, I should feel like what's going to keep me on my A game is I should feel like you feel like your success is better than mine. Because that's going to keep me competitive. I need that from my friends. I want all my friends.
That's the type of atmosphere you want to surround yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you were here, or like the smartest one in the room, then you hit your ceiling.
Yeah.
You're not doing nothing to help those around you, which is okay. You can help those around you, but if you see a bigger future, if you see more success, if you see more, things that you aspire, it's hard to break past that ceiling when you're here and everyone else is here. Now, when everyone's here, people are moving like this.
Mm-hmm.
That does nothing but bring it all the way up. So it makes a lot of sense, most definitely.
I mean, you always want. You got the supply and demand of competitive nature, right? That's why I feel like my top 5 career choices where you're just going to be a dominant person in these fields. If you're a top-notch athlete, right? If you're a top-notch musical artist or a top-notch business person. Now, the business part, that's the easiest part to get in, but that is the most competitive part to win in. Everyone can get into business. Everybody. Right? But to be a top-notch business person, that's cold. That's what I look at on trying to be successful on. Right? Because I had my time with sports. Right? It didn't work out. Right? The next thing I got in after sports was trying to take that same sports mindset to a business mindset.
Right.
I want to see, because what I've already learned is my mindset behind sports was already successful. I was already able to get up to one of the top tier places in the world. I was in the top 1% of athletes that played this game in the world. Well, I'm no longer in the game, but I bet you that mindset will work in a different career choice. And that's what a lot of athletes got to learn. Like, bro, that mindset, that work ethic, that consistency that you had every single day, you just have to learn when you're done with a sport to transition that. That's why I think LeBron is so good at. LeBron is so multifaceted as a person. Kobe, right? I think Drake's doing that in music. Kanye did it. Jay-Z does it. Right? They're in so many different fields. Right?
So once you start achieving goals and accomplishing those goals, it's important to assess whether you're heading in the right direction or not. Is your vision the same, or has it expanded? Do you feel that life is changing now that you have alternate priorities? Which also leads to the phrase of redefining success. So when you went from top tier, at the Orioles, you were at the top tier program organization, and now you're transferring those mechanisms to the business world. You are redefining your success.
Right. Well, I wouldn't even say redefining. I think it's the same success of trying to be as top level as I can be. I just had to learn a different field. Like, I'm playing ball on a different field. I used to literally go to a grass field to go play ball, and I'm playing ball, hitting my spreadsheets, my balance sheets, Yeah, like bro, like I can't drop the ball with that. I have to be an athlete with that. You know, like I have to run that stuff. Like really, as a business owner, it's way harder to manage than it was as an athlete. But being an athlete prepared me for that. You know what I'm saying? So like I understand when I start hearing the arguments between the owners and the players, I get both sides. Yeah, and that's cool for me to see. Like when like I love sports, bro. So when I see it in baseball, basketball, and they're arguing between the owners and players, they just need to hear each other out and they gotta compromise. That's all it is. You can't be stubborn because you're never gonna 100% agree on something. And so when you understand that, you're successfully always gonna be able to get into good situations. But we're not gonna 100% agree all the time, right? But let's cut a deal that is 100% attainable between the both of us. Those are how good business deals are mapped out, right? And that's not what people are telling you. People aren't telling you, hey, you're gonna argue, but the day that you bring a good offer to the table, it's gonna seem like it took 5 minutes, but you were arguing about a certain point for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I learned when you understand that time is only relevant to where you're at, right? In life. Right? Everything that you fail on is very minute because you're going to come back to it. No one enjoys failure. You're going to always come back to something that you failed at. It's human nature. It's like being told that you can't do something and then you go do it. That's called motivation. You know, so for success you have to have motivation. You know, and that's what you have to outline is, okay, like, that was like the number one thing told me, oh, we don't think you can hit. Oh, I can hit. That made me want to go hit. Oh, we don't think you can hit at a high level. Okay, then that's what made me go get drafted. You know, and that's what people have to learn off their own experiences. If there's something that really bothers you, that you know you're capable of, you have to find a successful way to express that to people. So my way to do it is through work. You know, like motivation is the biggest key for success. I don't get highly unmotivated people, but that's because a lot of the time they don't know what they want to be successful at.
So that's where it leads to. It leads to those who are in that bubble right now, who see a lot of success on social media, who see a lot of people that are achieving success and still aspiring their success. Where does that person begin his or her own success?
Finding their own niche in life, which is themselves. So I'll use an example, and we're not at the, like we say, we're not at the stature of what people might think. So when I name drop, I'm telling you about the people that I watch. I watch a lot of celebrities because they are able to talk to the world somehow, right? I don't know these people, they're real people, right? But somehow I get the news about them, so they're doing something great already. For me to be getting news about you and I don't know you, you're doing something dope. So, case in point, I was going over the internet and Danny Lee, which is a singer, I think is the baby's girlfriend, right? Or they've been talking, right?
You say Dub Baby?
Yeah. Right? Right?
Dub Baby. My baby.
Cold dude. Got those bars. But, you know, when I'm looking at this situation, she said a yellow bone is what she wants, right? And then America blew up about it because she's making colorism. I don't think she was making colorism. I think that she was just stating she's proud of who she is, and that's what her man wants. I don't see why she's getting bashed for that. But, you know what I wrote? I said, hey, the only thing you owe the world is giving good music like she gives, right? And worry about the people that care about what you're doing, because if you love what you're doing, people will relate, because someone's always going to relate to you, right? We get so caught up in, I don't know a million people. No, a million people are waiting to meet you, homie. That's what you gotta flip and have that swagger. I'm a one of one. I'm the only person like me. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's a very successful mindset. Now, what bothers people is they violate like a physical code. Like, I'm not going to do anything that's detrimental to you. I'm not trying to take money out of anyone's bank account. I'm just trying to add to what I got and everybody else is around me. You know what I'm saying? And when you start expressing those things, people are going to relate to what you say. You don't have to try. Just be yourself. Just keep trying to look out for your homies. You don't gotta go talk to about anybody else's stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand people that get off successful paths to go talk down about what you're doing. That goes making music. What are we talking down on it for? Either it's for you or it's not for you. Move.
Exactly.
Move. Like, I said this to my dad last night, and I listened to it was on a news show, and they said, and I couldn't agree more. And I'm not a person who watches a lot of the news because it gets on my nerves. But this is when I learned how to start arguing, was this dude made this comment. He goes, "What's happened now has been what used to be intolerant is now tolerant." Right? So it's flipped, because now if you have an opinion about something and you express your opinion, you get shamed for your own opinion, right? Until you change your opinion. But we've been intolerant to shaming over the last 10 years. So it's a constant cycle of
revolving door.
Yeah, well, it's never ending. So I just learned how to stay in the middle. That's why I've been able to achieve very, very little drama for myself. It's because I understand that, you know, unless it's like directly relevant to you, like person to person, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just got to keep moving and doing your thing and work on your relationship person to person that you meet, and you got to put out your own successful content. Every day I just try to capture what I'm doing in my life. That's it. That's it. That's it. Because if I do that now, it's crazy.
So you speak to, let's say you have a practice, right? Mm-hmm. And one of your kids, one of your players say, you know for a fact that one of your players didn't do that well in practice, yet you say it was still a good practice.
Because you should, for that to happen, just because I know that's kind of going, to be successful is getting to that practice, knowing it's not a good practice, and not quitting and throwing your stuff down and storming out and giving up. Have a good bad practice. Just aware that you're struggling that day, work through it. Most of the time, at least in our sport, or the sport that I train the most, right? It's super easy to have a bad practice, because if you boot a ball one time, it's a costly error in the game. So in practice, we're going to be hitting way harder ground balls than you probably get in games, because you just don't get those type of ground balls until you're at elite level, bro. But when they learn that they can feel that, they get an elite level of confidence, and that's the key to success. Confidence, motivation, right, and just work and consistency. I would say those are the four chains of success. 4 links.
4 links, baby.
4 links, because you have your motivation. That's your purpose to get up and do something, right? Consistency. The more you have that motivation, the more that you're going to repeat those steps, right? Then you have the work ethic, right? That it goes hand in hand with consistency. Because if you're not working, you can't be consistent. Right? What was the 4th one I went? Confidence. Oh, confidence. Right? If you don't, here's one thing. I go play basketball every single day. The shots that I miss are the ones I don't pull with 100% confidence. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's why Steph Curry's cold. Steph Curry pulls over from 50 feet out with confidence. Just because. He's Steph. He's Steph.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I used to be a big Steph Curry hater. I love that man, though. Playing basketball. Like, 2K, I'm getting Golden State just because of Steph. Like, I'm just telling you. Because, here's why I didn't like Steph. Steph just runs around the court, and I know that if I had to play basketball against Steph, I'd be mad. Because he's so successful of bumping you off screens, fading off screens, and catching and shooting. And he got handles. And he's quick with the release. Steph is cold. So when I was a Steph hater, it was coming from like a real one, like, bro, he's cold, and I'm going to be mad running around the court trying to chase him all game. That's why he gets up 35 points a game.
I mean, but that stuff, that situations, he put himself in those situations.
But he's successful, and he figured that out. He figured out his niche.
He knew that he could shoot, and he wasn't the biggest man on the court, so he had to find separation. Now, separation was his success. Yes. He could already...
Bro, you just said it.
Opportunity and to succeed.
He separated himself from every other 6'3" guard that has ever came in the league.
Separation, and in terms of stats, but also separations in terms of on court.
Yeah, I'm saying both.
Those defenders.
Shoot, that might have to be the fifth link. The chain of success.
Chain of success.
Build it. The fifth link. Separation. You gotta separate to elevate.
You gotta separate to elevate. You really do. You really do. That's the thing. And then at the same time, success can be as big or as small as the mind thinks it up. Okay? So if you think that you can only do this, you're so right.
Jay-Z talks about it all the time. He said, I not in these words, my word for it is a one-trick pony. You know, like if you can only do one thing, you're going to sit where you are your whole life. Like, one thing that I've learned is my life is going to be on the road. You know, like, because I like moving until something good enough comes and settles me down. That's just not natural life. And then I'm going to learn how to be successful at doing that every day. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people don't understand how life and its path works. Everyone starts off super motivated by something. If you're alive today, you are super motivated. That's why it's a dub. Just find out where your motivation is to get a second dub for the day. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a hard thing to do, to get up and live sometimes as a person someday. And I mean this in, like, not that I ever want to hurt myself, because I don't, right? But that comment is, like, just out there, and here's where I'm going with it. It takes a lot to live as a person today, because when you turn on the news, everybody hates each other. When you turn on the news, everybody wants to shoot each other. Right? And so you walk around with this anxiety like you're always on stepping stones, because that's the news for the day, is that you're hated. So, quite frankly, for a lot of people,
it comes on at the morning too. At the morning, when you get off work, before you go to bed, the news comes on.
Bro, COVID was the most depressing thing I ever saw in my life. There was no sports. The kids were at home with no school. When they turned on Snapchat, it was Corona. When I turned on ESPN, it was COVID. There was no sports stories for like a month.
COVID made me so mad that I had to get on the news. At that time, last year, 2020, the only thing that was on the news was COVID.
Bro, I grew up seeing CNN, but I was watching ESPN as a kid. Like, I was trying to do the top 10 plays in my basement. That was me. Right?
Yeah.
Top 10 plays in my basement. I was sitting there watching CNN like ESPN, boy. I was like, this is a play-by-play. They made that whole presidential candidacy look like an ESPN show. They had profile pics, highlights. I said, whoa. But I said, this is real life. Like, they're really arguing like this real life. People are really out here like this real life. And ESPN is real life, but it's in the bubble of sports. It's a good bubble. We're seeing, when you go and see the news, it's the raw bubble of the real world, bro.
But let's see how crazy the news is, man. So when we started, we were detailing last year, 2020, early March, end of February, and that's when the COVID outbreak became pretty crazy, and it was just a vulnerable time. I mean, for everyone, and like they were not letting anything else besides COVID get on the news. Luckily, shout out to Michaela McGee from St. Louis, Fox 2 News. She helped us get on the news for Spotto, mobile detailing company, and we were able to just pitch what we had to offer to the world as far as cleaning cars during times like this and uncertainty, which was great. We got a lot of calls, we got a lot of services, we got a lot of new amazing clients from it. But even though we thought everything was all good and gravy, you still had rebuttal from other people that are just mad at the fact that, you know, it's just in that time, what you had other people that were just mad, even if it was the people in our industry, they were saying, well, I thought of that idea, that's my idea, you took my idea. That's how the news will set you up. I mean, that's crazy. Like, you're going to get rebuttal at all times.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's why they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. Because when you're able to handle yourself, you make a bad situation look good.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but that doesn't mean that I think you should walk around trying to get in bad situations either. Just because you're good at managing. I think the best bosses in the world have to handle situations that they don't want to handle. I think if you have to handle that on a daily basis, you're just a bad boss. There's always stuff to be managed. Like, that's not a bad thing. But if you're constantly handling bad business, like, you're just not running a good business. You got to really, really restructure yourself.
You definitely have to sit back and redefine your success at that point. That's when you redefine your success. Yep. You see that.
You have to change models.
Yeah.
You know, and
successful, but you have to redefine that in that situation.
Oh yeah, but you know, and here's another thing: when you're starting off as a small guy, and everybody does, right? Unless you somehow work into a big corporation and get to the top pretty fast because you're talented, right? But when you work as a small guy, you gotta build, and you gotta trust. You gotta reform and remodel all the time, and then
especially a small guy on a big stage. When you're a small guy on a big stage and you think you got all your ducks in a row, you may have to redefine your success from that point. You know, you take feedback. You don't ever take feedback as a negative point. You take it and you learn from it because it could be the truth. And if you can find some truth in it. If you can find some truth in it to help you redefine your success and readjust, then that's nothing but moving forward anyway. So that's not even failing at that point.
Mm-hmm. You know, but that's why I said I don't believe in failure, because me as a person, if I fail at something, I'm coming back to it, and at some point I'm gonna figure it out. And that's what. And a lot of times, man, it's people don't realize what you're doing until it's done. You know, and then people start appreciating it once it's done. You know, and that's why people have different careers. You know, they feel depreciated or they don't feel the same about it, so they leave it. And then what they bring to the game, when that's gone, you're like, man, oh man, we lost a good one.
You hit a good note now. You hit a good point on that one. They don't see it until it's done. Mm-hmm. So when you in terms of success, you know, people want success so fast. You know, people want to be acknowledged about their success so fast. But the famous quote is, you're not going to appreciate it until it's done. You know what I mean? So if you carry that mindset onto what you were trying to aspire for, I feel like there'd be a lot less stress on your shoulders, and there's a lot more things that you can go after that maybe in your head have you a little complacent or have you a little procrastinating about things. Because at the end of the day, those two words, complacency and procrastination, is just in the mind. You know?
Yeah, but every single day I think you should learn how to free yourself up. Like, you know what I started implementing was reading every day. Right now my mind is on, you know, when I was playing ball, I would read things that related to sports all the time. You know, now my mind's on being a effective business owner, so I read a lot of things that, you know, that I feel are going to help me run a quality business, you know, and just learn that skill. I'm going to school again every day, you know, and I think when you go to school on the things that you like to do, you're going to do it very successfully, you know. But what I'm learning too is your time management is key with that stuff. Right?
Yep.
So, I mean, success is for whoever. It doesn't.
It's for whoever.
It's for whoever. It's like oxygen. It's for everybody. But that doesn't mean you're entitled to it. Just saying. Just because it's for you, you're not entitled to it.
I couldn't agree more myself.
That's 100% just how I feel. I work with a lot of successful people every single day because they work for it.
Because they work for it. So the word failure, it does not occur because you don't meet an objective. It only occurs when you stop or when you give up. You know. So when you talk about setbacks and stepbacks, you know, there's still opportunity there. There's still success to get. But that give up, that stopping, yeah, you won't see it.
Well, I think here's what people say a lot about our generation is that we want things, we want an insta community, right? I think that people you're able to use people's services so quickly, right? It makes them seem like they pop up overnight. People forget that PayPal has been a business for like dang near 20 years. People forget eBay's been around for just as long. People forget that Jeff Bezos has been doing this for years. And that technology is just now allowing us to catch what that man is capable of doing. One single man that built that. Right? You know, people are just now being able to really understand what Bill Gates has been able to do. Just like it took years and years and years for people to understand the qualities of what, like in religion, what the prophets were doing. Those stories came out years and years and years after, but here's what you're noticing. Instead of 2,000 years, it's only taking 10 years for that information to come out. So every 2,000 years, you're probably about another 2,000 years away from information being instantly. Like that year. That's what I mean by instantly. A year's so long time, but where you're gonna go back and be able to see what people are doing in mass amounts in 10 years worth of information, you're gonna get that detailed in 1 year. And then after that, it'll start going down to the weeks and days. Over a span of time. That's how good people will get with getting better with technologies. That's why I think that's the next booming era. We're already in it.
We're already in it.
Yeah, the whole world's gonna be just a big downloaded computer.
It's just consistency in what you love and what you.
Well,
basically.
Well, when I say that, the technology has been the consistent thing in the building of America. It's the most successful thing that's been going. You gotta look up the definition of technology. Barbed wire was a technology at some point that saved a lot of ranchers some headaches, right? When they used to go back and they used to pick cotton, the cotton gin that Eli Whitney is attributed for making, right? That's something that was a technology at the time that took off. So now you as a person, you have to go and look at, okay, what's the next thing taking off? It's all going. You gotta get you on the internet. You're on the success wave of that. And people will look at you like you're crazy when you talk about it because it's never been done before. But when you look 10 years from now, that's going to be the new normal. You're behind.
Way behind.
You're way behind.
These are computers.
Yeah. You won't see a desktop computer in 50 years. Not the ones like now. It's going to be a monitor. Or it's just literally going to be the screen and that's it. That's your desktop computer.
If that, it may be, I don't even know, like something popping out of the ground and you can just type in the air.
Could be projection. Yep.
It's great. That's something to think about, man. It's funny that we're talking about it because we've been in technology for quite some time, and probably the listeners here have also been in technology and they know what's going on. But it really is something to think about. Like you have to catch up, stay with it, or get lost.
Hey, all I know is if you learn how the world works, you will always be able to learn how to stay successful.
You learn, you earn.
You gotta catch.
You learn, what you earn.
You gotta catch waves. You gotta catch waves.
I agree 100%, man. That's dope. That's dope. So that pretty much, I feel like that pretty much explains it. That definitely explains where you can get started. What to think about prior to where you want to find yourself as a successor in your life, in your own way. You're gonna get distracted. There's plenty of distractions out there, but as long as you're getting that one win, when you get that one win, it's gonna feel good because it can be something so simple. It can be something very simple. It can be something as simple as making breakfast that day. But once you get that win and you make that breakfast, then you're gonna keep adding on. You're gonna keep adding on wins for the day. And then before you know it, you got yourself a schedule.
Oh yeah. I mean, motivation, bro. Life's all about being motivated. That's how you get successful at it.
Motivation is a consistency, most definitely.
Yep. So, yeah. It's just crazy. People have to realize too. You're the size of this in terms of the world. You're the size of the pinhead in terms of the world, so you just care about the world around you. There's a lot of different worlds. You got about 50 different worlds in the United States because a lot of people don't know me in the next city over. So you go into that world, and when in Rome, you do what the Romans do, and you're going to be okay. You're going to succeed in that city. And that's what I think when I say stay mindful. I always stay mindful that if I go somewhere, you gotta learn how the people move in that city, bro. You just can't go there acting wild. What's acceptable here in O'Fallon might not be acceptable in England.
I agree.
And not even what's acceptable in O'Fallon might not be acceptable in St. Peter's. That's just acceptable. Acceptable. Switch my words up.
It all makes sense, man. You just gotta, yeah. You gotta adjust. You gotta know how to adjust. That adjustment is very crucial to success in your own way, because it's not gonna be easy road. It's never gonna be easy road, and it's never gonna be how you have it planned. So that adjustment piece on when you're striving for success is the best part. I think it's the best part.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, adjusting. You can only adjust when you've had a course of action to reroute you. You know what I'm saying? Like, adjustments only come off your path. So if you stay to your path, you can always adjust things around your life. You start going into someone else's path, right? They're gonna run into you because they're gonna try to adjust around you, and you're gonna try to adjust around them, and you're just gonna, right? That's why I think you just, you know, you stay out of people's way. You know, you just stay mindful. You say, what's up? You give them the do sign while you stay in your lane, and you keep going, bro. If we cross paths, I wanted to be we're in the same path for a while. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I come into your lane, like, we better be on the same path, going the same speed, right? Going to the same goal. That's how it's got to be. That's the road to success, I guess. Is it, you know, you start trying to get a big traffic line of people going in the same lane, the same path, the same way, right? In your own life. But they can come and go and say, please, you know, if they have to adjust for their own life. That's what you have to understand. People won't be in your same lane as you forever. Sometimes they got to switch a lane, adjust to their life real quick, and then come back. Right? And that's why you can't get, like, too bent out of shape. That's why you and I can go a year or two without talking. You know, I don't think we ever gone that long, but I'm talking about, like, we can go a month or two without talking and there's no hurt feelings. You know, I don't gotta talk to you every day. That doesn't mean you don't care about me. Your life is busy, bro. Think about it. Think about that. You can be friends with everybody, but like, from the stature that I grew up from, you have to talk to people every day to be friends. That's not possible. That's not possible.
When you really calculate your 168.
Look, I talk to you 5 days of the week. That's a lot.
Yeah, but yeah,
and that's recently. Guess what? You know, so that means out of the last. This is me getting my. Out of the last 21 days, I've talked to you for 14 of them. We're going to be successful at doing something. We're always successful at talking.
Putting it together, man.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what people don't understand the capacity of that. That's a number. You know, but you just got to put the information out there for people, bro, because people don't realize that. Like, when you go and you start saying, okay, this is what we do, people have conversations like this every day and won't just sit down and talk to each other and let other people see the conversation. That's what's wrong with the world. In a lot of aspects, they don't know how to talk. Mm-hmm. They just do. You know?
But at the same time, communication is key.
Communication will save a nation.
Communication will save the nation. I like it because it's true. Most deaf, man. Man, this, don't forget. If this episode has touched you in any type of way, if you know someone that will benefit from this episode, man, please like, share, comment,
subscribe,
man, because we got more heat coming after y'all. We got more heat coming after. Feel free to check us out at our new website, www.investments.com. We are also on every social media site at Investments. Thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself, and we'll see you next time.